Hi everybody! I wanted to talk about something today that's maybe not that interesting to you, but I feel like there's a little bit of confusion around cake boards. What I have here are 3 types of boards, I guess we'll call them, that you could build your cake on. So which board do you choose? It's very confusing because there's many options out there, but I'll break it down and make it really simple. There's something called a cake drum, cake pad, and then plain old cake board. A drum is easiest to distinguish from all of these. It's thick and it usually comes in a minimum of a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch thickness. These are used specifically for cakes that have some weight to them. When you have a heavy cake, when you're making a wedding cake, you're gonna wanna have something with some thickness, with something that can't easily bend because you're gonna get cracking on the cake, on the base of the cake. It's gonna be very hard to lift up a 40-pound cake on one of these guys, okay? You wanna look for one that is wrapped around this edge, okay? If you look here, it's got this foil grease resistant paper on it that is wrapped around the edge, as opposed to this one here that has a circle cut out of that grease resistant paper put on top, glued on top, and then just another wrap of that around here, but there's a space in between. What happens is, when you have grease in the form of butter, in the form of cream, in the form of oil, okay, and these things are commonly in cakes, if it gets between this little layer here, you're gonna have these little grease stains on here, and that's not sexy. We don't want that on here, okay? So get it nice and wrapped, keep it clean, and then when you get your butter and your grease on this one, you just wipe it off and you won't get any grease stains on this, okay? So these are meant to be shown. And so what I mean by that is, this one here is a 12-inch board. You would build a 10-inch cake on here. So you would have a 1-inch area of this board that you could see. That is why it's important that your board remain clean, if that makes sense. Next up, we have these little cake pads, which sometimes go hand in hand with these drums because these are not actually meant to be seen at all. And so what I mean by that is, you would build, this is a 6-inch pad, and a 6-inch cake is going directly on top of this. You're not going to see this at all. Well, when would we use that? We're going to use that when we're stacking cakes, okay? And so this one, these little pads are generally not coated with a grease resistant coating or wrapped in a foil like these ones are here. This here is just kind of a spacer. It's meant for structure, and we'll talk about that in a different video when we discuss how to stack a cake, but these ones are excellent. Now, if you can find them, a lot of times they often come with a perforated circle in the center that you can just pop right out. And the reason why is, again, because these are generally meant for stacking cakes. And when you're stacking cakes, you want to put a central dowel right through, and that usually goes right through that perforated center. Now, if it doesn't come with a perforated center that you can pop right out, no problem. Okay, the ones that I have here actually don't. And you just cut your own hole. Just grab some scissors, get your aggression out, stab that hole, and it's all good, okay? Next up, these are probably gonna be the ones that most people will use, professionals and home bakers. They come in all different colors. Some are smooth or just totally circular. Some are scalloped. I like the scalloped ones. I like a little scallop. It looks kind of fancy, right? They come with a little like pattern on it. I actually prefer the ones that are have no design. That's just a plain gold or a plain silver. These are really great. I carry them gold and silver because a lot of times the accents that I put on my cake are gold or silver. Not super thin, but sturdy enough, right? Sturdy enough that I can construct a cake on them. These are coated in a grease resistant, I guess like a foil. When you're building your cake on it, you're not going to have those grease stains on the board like you would if you were using something like this, okay? So these are awesome. Cake gets built directly on this. Again, you're going to choose one of these because it's meant to be seen. That's about 2 inches bigger than the diameter of your actual cake. You're building a 6-inch cake, you're using an 8-inch board, okay? To sum up, we have cake boards, cake pads, and we have our cake drums. All super useful, but all have their own purposes. I hope I cleared up any confusion for you and didn't make this way more complicated than it needed to be. Thanks for watching, everybody. Let me know if you have any other questions that you want to be answered. I would be happy to answer them for you in another video.